Hello, welcome to this week's update on what I've been doing this week. This week I'm drilling down into a topic that came up on a podcast that I appeared on. Recorded it on Monday of this week. It's been going through my mind for the rest of the week, so I thought this would be a good place to start. The comment I made on the podcast was that the academy system in this country is dead. Now, don't get me wrong, the academy system will still exist in 20, 30, 40 years' time. There may be new policies, but it will still be there. That's not what I mean by it. But what I mean by it being dead is nobody is willing to step out and say that the academy system is not doing what it sets out to do. The system's broken. In my mind, it's just dysfunctional and it's dead. So let's unpick why I've come to this conclusion. First of all, what's the evidence that I'm using for this? Since the EPPP was brought in 2012, how many world-class players has it produced? I would invite you to pause the video right now and see if you can use Google, find players who've come through the academy system starting at 2012 who are world class, okay, world class players, and you will struggle to get to 10. It says to me that we are not able, despite the resource, despite the infrastructure, despite the new policies that go on around it, to produce world class players more than average of one a year. The second thing is, of the players who do come through and they burst onto the scene at 18, 19, 20, they struggle to then sustain a career at the highest level. So why is this occurring? Numerous reasons for this, and we could probably talk for an hour on this, but here are my top few. First of all, the move to going to under fives and below is bad. It was a bad idea, and we're seeing the fruits of that now. Early specialisation isn't a good idea. So many studies have pointed to this being a bad thing, yet the EPPP and slightly before that, we'd started to focus on more professionalised coaching for under fives, under six, under sevens, under eights, and so on. What does this mean? It means less experimentation, less child-led fun. It means that kids aren't picking up skills from different sports. So loads of positives in their life in terms of their physical development, their physical literacy is being taken away. It's also an adult-led environment, which is a problem, because that means that children aren't thinking for themselves at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8 as much. We also put adults around the outside watching, so straight away that changes the behaviour of those kids, whereas if they were playing on a field with their mates, on a park, it's freedom, it's more freedom, it's risk-taking, it's experimentation, whereas kids, and I see this a lot, go into an academy, how many kids play a game of football with a smile on their face in an academy system? Have a look at your own kid and ask yourself if that's what you're seeing. The academy system is also club focused. This is a business. You take your child to that academy, and that child is the currency that those academies are trying to develop so they can sell on or move them to the first team. So the club isn't bothered about the development of your child, they're bothered about the development of a player. They don't commit to that long term, they might commit to that 2 years at a time. So what's the advantage for them to think long term about the development of that kid? It's just not there. And more than that, in most clubs, academies aren't joined in with the first team. If you get to 18, you get a pro contract, or at 20 and you get a pro contract, you go into the first team, personal development stops. Player development stops in first teams. It's about the team. So are we developing players in an academy setting who can then sustain a professional career in an environment where it's not about them anymore, it's not about the development of them as a player and a person, it's about them contributing to the team? We're not doing that. So it's academy focused on player development into a first team, which is about the team winning. Have we given players the skills in an academy to sustain a career? No, because the academies are judged on how many they get to the first team, how many they sell on. So what do we do about this? What does this mean for you? I think you need to think seriously about the drive to get kids to academies at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, and don't panic if that's not happening. Yes, at some point we have to probably engage with this system, okay? But, okay, there are private academies out there as well. But at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, let them play different sports, let them get a wide sporting repertoire. They will pick up skills, fitness, dynamic elements that can be transferred across different sports, and that is good for them. So don't panic on that scenario. And the other thing is take ownership of this. One of the problems that I see with an academy system is that clubs are still set up to make you feel like you should feel privileged that they're inviting you to their business. Okay? They don't engage very well with parents. They tend to ask parents to stand over the other side of the pitch, sometimes don't even let parents watch the coaching sessions. You bring them and then you take them away at the end of it with very little discussion about development of the person and of the player. Okay, so yes, we have to engage with this, but take control of those parts. Make sure you're developing the child as a holistic individual. Make sure you're thinking about developing them as a leader, as a good person. The clubs aren't incentivized to do that. They should be. They could be doing it, and I believe they develop better players if they do that, but I don't see that in the system. It's why I think the system's completely broken and dead. But yes, we've got to engage with it. I hope you've enjoyed this video.